What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Homebrew Subaru. We're just going to roll right into this because it's more or less an update, and I didn't take a lot of footage or any footage this week. Just took some pictures and did a bunch of work. As you can see behind me, I've got the RS back inside, the 240's outside. I've been cleaning up the RS because really I've got too many cars and I've got to sell something, so this is going to go up for sale. Just kind of ahead and cleaned up the headlights and started doing the interior. I've got the original seats back into it and I've shampooed them. They're starting to look pretty good. Taken a bunch of the parts that I want from this car to probably put on the WRX. So even the roof racks came off. I'm probably going to reuse those. Where I left off last week was the alternator on the 240. I was just one of those things that kind of pops up, no charging. And so the battery wasn't being charged by the alternator. The alternator could have been like an original alternator, 32 years old. It's possible. It didn't really look like it had been replaced and had as much corrosion as the rest of the engine. Regardless, I was able to clean up the KA alternator that I had from the old engine that came out of the car. So completely different engine, but very similar alternator. And really I just had to use the same bottom bolt that's on the KA's alternator to mount it to the RB engine. And then I just modified the top bracket, kind of cut off one end, only have one bolt supporting it from the water pump. Not the tensioner and everything works the same, places the alternator in the same position. It's the same size pulley. So starting the car up, charged really good, hitting like 14.1. I had to clean up that alternator a lot, so it was covered in a lot of mud. I don't know how long it's going to last. So I may end up getting a new alternator, putting it on the car, and then just saving that one as a spare kind of thing. So yeah, I'm kind of finished up with the 240 and ready to put it on the road. I put a little insulation underneath the shifter because it's always made a little bit of noise. And I do have the rubber insulator in place, and it's all bolted in place with the hydro brake. But I just laid some of that carpet insulation right over top, and it's quieted it down even that much more. It's amazing. So really the only other thing I did to the 240 was give it a wash, and then I tried to do a couple little paint touch-ups on it with my spray can. Honestly, the paint, I don't know what happened, but as it came out of the summer and I put the car cover over top of it, all these fish eyes started coming out of the paint like months after I painted it, which is, I mean, I did a really good job of cleaning it before I painted it, so I really have no idea what it's from, and I don't really care either. So I'm just gonna, as these little things pop up on it, I'm just gonna hit them with the can. I'm gonna get a little touch up so I can hit all those little fish eyes eventually. But we'll go outside and go check it out. Yesterday it was a pretty hot sunny day, and the headliner actually did start coming loose in a couple places like I thought it would, but just cracking the windows, and then I put the sun deflector in the windshield, which I should be doing anyway to save that dash. Instantly cooled it off in there, and I was able to just pat it back up in place, and it's still there. So I'm just gonna have to keep note of that, or I'm going to come to the car and the whole headliner is going to be sitting on the seats. And don't get me wrong, I'd like to keep this car and do the swap to it, but it's going to be so much easier to do it to the WRX outside. So let's go outside and have a look at the 240 and the WRX that I bought. Yeah, so the wheels make it really pop off the black. I mean, white on black is not the coolest thing to be doing, but I think it looks pretty decent. And the wheels actually came off of the WRX. So this is the 2002 WRX that I'll be building. Right now I've just got the JDM Legacy GTB wheels on it. It is missing its front bumper and has a little scratching and damage to this fender over here. So, I mean, the headlight's no good. The fender, I might try and do something with it. You know me. But it's rather complete. The skirts are on it. It's got the STI wing, which I'm not sure if I want to leave on it. I think it's got a little splitting here. It's got an exhaust and does have mud flaps on it already, but they're pretty old and stretched out. Tinted windows will probably take the tint off. It's got some Hot Boy painting done inside, which will have to be all done, but the interior is pretty decent. I do have the seats. You guys probably just looking at my reflection. I was gonna pop it open, but we'll leave it for another video in maybe a week or two to really go over what's needed. But the main thing is it has a knocking bottom end, and I have not even started it yet. I haven't even run the car. It's been here for a long while, so I have no idea what's really going on with it, but I've heard a video of it knocking, so we'll just assume it's a rod knock, bottom end bearing spun or something like that. But yeah, I think we're going to build another hybrid engine, and then probably the 257 block that I have, the heads are probably going to come off of it, and put the 2-liter WRX heads on it and make that work. Really like the look of the front of the 240. And the way the interior turned out, I mean, can't wait to start driving it. So yeah, things are getting a little cluttered. I mean, the Forester, the WRX, and the 240 are pretty much taking up the whole front of the place. I have been parking over here without my gravel driveway yet, and hopefully the RS gets sold so I get some more space. But yeah, I'm really glad to have the 240 pretty much ready to go. I'm gonna put insurance on it a few days anyway, and I'll start driving it this week. I'd like to get out of town and go for a little trip, just because I've been kind of cooped up here for a little bit too long, and I think the car's going to be good to go. I don't see why not, but I'll drive it the next few days just to make sure there's no hiccups, and then just take a couple little extra things with me, maybe just to hopefully, if something does pop up, I can take care of it. But yeah, once I get the RS kind of ready to sit outside with a sign on it, then the WRX come inside and we'll start doing a breakdown of that thing and see what I'm going to be doing with that and where I'm going with it. More of a detailed video at the time anyway. Always kind of, if you've gotten to this point of the video, I kind of forgot to mention at the beginning, but make sure to pick up your Homebrew Subaru decals. I'll put the link down in the description down below. And if you like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up, and if you're new here and you haven't already, please consider hitting that subscribe button for me. Leave your questions and comments further down below, and I'll see you in the next one.